Hi, it's Shannon, and I'm going to do something a little different today. Topic is how to heal your digestion through healing, feeding your microbiome what it needs to thrive. And as I was preparing for this talk yesterday, reviewing teachings on the microbiome and then trying to articulate what it is I understand, I realized it would be much better for me to read something from those that are studying the microbiome in detail. And in that way, our information will be clearer to understand. And then at the end, I'll tie it into what Ayurveda has to say about all of this and some of the practical things you can consider doing to heal your digestion and why that's so important. So, I'm going to be reading today from the Cleveland Clinic's website, and this is an article on the gut microbiome describing what it is, how it functions, and this was last updated in August of 2023, so very recent. So, the gut microbiome is a microscopic world within the world of your larger body. The trillions of microorganisms that live there affect each other and their environment in various ways. They also appear to influence many aspects of your overall health, body, both within your digestive system and outside of it. What is the gut microbiome? A biome is a distinct ecosystem characterized by its environment and its inhabitants. Your gut inside your intestines is in fact a miniature biome populated by trillions of microscopic organisms. These microorganisms include over 1,000 species of bacteria, as well as viruses, fungi, and parasites. Trillions in your gut right now. Your gut microbiome is unique to you. Infants inherit their first gut microbes during vaginal delivery or breastfeeding. Later, your diet and other environmental exposures introduce new microbes to your biome. Some of these exposures cause harm and diminish your gut microbiota, right? Some will be helpful, some won't. Why is the gut microbiome important? Most of the microorganisms in our guts have a symbiotic relationship with us, their hosts. That means we both benefit. We both benefit from the relationship. We provide them food and shelter, and they provide important services for our system. These helpful microbes also help to keep potentially harmful ones in check. So that's the balance between the good bugs and the bad bugs. And it's personal. Everybody's microbiome is a little different. You can think of your gut microbiome as a diverse native garden that you rely on for nutritious foods and medicines. When your garden is healthy and thriving, you thrive too. But if the soil is depleted or polluted, or if pests or weeds are overrunning the helpful plants, it can upset your whole ecosystem. Function. What does your gut microbiome do? Your gut microbiome interacts with many of your body's systems and assists with many functions. It plays such an active role in your body that some healthcare providers have described it as being almost like an organ in itself. So it has its finger in many systems. Some of these interactions we're still learning about, while others are well known. Digestive system. Bacteria in your gut help break down certain complex carbohydrates and dietary fibers that you can't break down on your own. They produce short chain fatty acids, an important nutrient, as byproducts. They also provide the enzymes necessary to synthesize certain vitamins, including vitamin B1, vitamin B9, vitamin B12, and vitamin K. These might seem like small nutrients, but micronutrient deficiencies can have a big impact on your health. Short chain fatty acids in particular feed the cells in your gut lining and help to keep your overall gut environment healthy. Gut bacteria also help to metabolize bile in your intestines. Your liver sends bile to your small intestines to help you digest fats. When that's done, bacteria and their enzymes help to break it down so that the bile acids can be reabsorbed and recycled by your liver. If this process stopped working, your body would be unable to recycle bile acids and your liver wouldn't have enough to produce new bile. Your digestive system wouldn't get the bile it needs to digest and absorb fats. Leftover cholesterol, one of the components of bile, would build up in your blood. Immune system. Beneficial microbes in your gut help to train your immune system to tell them apart from the unhealthy pathogenic types. I'm going to read that again. Beneficial microbes in your gut help to train your immune system to tell them apart from the unhelpful pathogenic types. Your gut is your largest immune system organ, containing up to 80% of your body's immune cells. These cells help to clear out the many pathogens that pass through it every day. Helpful gut microbes also compete directly with unhealthy types for real estate and nutrients, preventing them from taking up too much territory. So some of the chronic bacterial infections are directly related to having a diminished gut microbiome. So when the unhealthy types of bacteria are overrunning the healthy types, then there's going to be a problem. Short chain fatty acids, the byproducts of helpful gut bacteria, have important benefits for your immune system. They help maintain your gut barrier, keeping the bacteria and bacterial toxins inside from escaping into your bloodstream. They also have anti-inflammatory properties for your gut. So this is really important because inflammation is a function of the immune system, but it can malfunction, becoming hyperreactive. Chronic inflammation is a feature of autoimmune disease and may have a role in many other diseases, including cancer. Short chain fatty acids appear to suppress these types of inflammatory reactions. That's important. Gut microbes can affect your nervous system through the gut-brain axis. The network of nerves, neurons, and neurotransmitters that runs through your GI tract. Certain bacteria actually produce or stimulate the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin that send chemical signals to your brain. So we know that the microbiome is connected to our mood. Interesting. Endocrine system. Gut microbes and their products also interact with endocrine cells in your gut. These cells make your gut the largest endocrine system organ in your body. They secrete hormones that regulate aspects of your metabolism, including blood sugar, hunger, and satiety. So researchers continue to explore how the gut microbiome might be involved in metabolic syndrome, obesity, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and excess fat storage in your liver. So there's a strong inkling these are connected, and research is ongoing. So your gut microbiome is mainly in your colon, although there are microbiota in your stomach and in the small intestines too. So let's talk about dysbiosis, and that's where there are more bad bugs than good bugs. The bad bugs are taking up too much territory. So healthcare providers use the term dysbiosis to refer to an unbalanced or unhealthy gut microbiome. Dysbiosis means a loss or deficit of beneficial bacteria, overgrowth of potentially pathogenic bacteria, a loss of overall bacterial diversity. So it may start with one of these three factors, but often the other two will come in at the same time. What environmental factors affect your gut microbiome? Diet, chemicals, and diversity, as well as motility. So motility has to do with how regular your bowels are moving. So this is how your crop of microorganisms turns over. So after traveling through your colon, where they help break down undigested compounds into nutrients you can absorb. Many come out with your poop, and how long this takes affects your microbiome. So the movement of food and waste through your GI tract helps to distribute different microbes into different places along the way. If it's too fast, they don't have time to settle or do their jobs before clearing out. And if it's too slow, they can overeat and overgrow, spreading beyond their territory. So there are many health conditions associated with a dysbiosis. Candida is one we know about. SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. That's often when some of the healthy bacteria in the colon that are supposed to stay there go up into the small intestine. And inflammatory bowel disease, we know about that. Ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, irritable bowel syndrome, as well as the effect of that high cholesterol that doesn't get broken down well, and so then that can build up in the arteries. So other conditions indirectly related to gut dysbiosis include allergies, anxiety, asthma, autism, chronic fatigue syndrome, colon cancer, diabetes, depression, fatty liver disease, IBS, liver cancer, MS, neurodegenerative diseases, obesity, pancreatic cancer, rheumatoid arthritis. Signs and symptoms of problem with your gut microbiome. These are really simple, right? Gas pain, bloated stomach, poor digestion, lower abdominal pain, diarrhea, constipation. So all the simple things. Can I take a test to check? You can take a test, but it doesn't often always give you exactly the information that you're looking for. How do healthcare providers treat gut microbiome conditions? Through elimination diets, through antibiotics, and through fecal transplants, where you take somebody with a good microbiome and put some of that poop into somebody with a bad microbiome, and that will help to repopulate the bad microbiome with good bugs. What can I do to take care of my gut microbiome? Improve your gut health naturally. Try probiotics and prebiotics. Use antibiotics with care. All right, that was a long time to get all the way to the bottom of that. Thanks for listening. And one last thing here, which is just to look at what we can do to support our microbiome and why that's important. So hopefully that long reading gave you that understanding that Ayurveda really points to. Now, I don't know that the microbiome and Agni are exactly the same thing, but from the point of view of Ayurveda, Agni, the state of our central digestive fire, underlies, health or disease, depending on how it's functioning. And I think that article is telling us that it isn't just about digestion, right? It's about cholesterol in the blood. It's about metabolic syndromes like type 2 diabetes. It's about inflammation in the system. It's about autoimmune conditions. So, this idea of getting our digestion together is so critical for our health. It's about allergies. There was that long list, so many things directly and indirectly, so many disease states directly and indirectly related to the health or non-health of the microbiota. So here are the things we can do naturally. Eating a variety of seasonal plant foods. So I'm an omnivore. I eat everything. And even if you eat animal foods, getting a variety of plant foods in your diet every single week is really important. So the suggested amount is 30. And you heard me read in that article this information that the diversity of food for the microbiome is really important, not just so that's where, if we are supplementing with probiotics, say, and they have one, two, three, maybe four different kind of helpful bacteria, that's not enough, right? There's billions of critters in there, and they need a diversity to be healthy. So the best way to feed those critters is through plants. And so that includes vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, spices, grains, beans, and legumes. So you can make a list of how many different plants you're getting in your diet every week and try to get a variety up to 30 different plants, spices, all those things within a week. And then that diversity is feeding all the different kinds of healthy bugs that we want to be feeding. Uh, Eat plants that have been grown without pesticides and herbicides. So if you feel like you can't invest in organic plants, then at least to know the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. And that is a list that comes out from an environmental agency. You can Google that and find out. And the Dirty Dozen are the top 12 foods that have the most pesticide and herbicide residue on them. So those for sure you want to avoid. And I know strawberries are on that list, spinach is on that list, a lot of the nightshades are on that list. So make sure you know what those 12 foods are and definitely invest in organic there. The Clean 15 are good to know too. And I think avocados are on that list, so that if you do have to budget a little bit, that okay, well, these 15 foods have the least amount of residue on them. So I can buy them conventionally grown, especially if they're from a local farmer, and I'm probably going to be okay. And then eating freshly prepared food so that you get the most out of your food. And most plants you'll be able to absorb their nutrition better if you cook them. And you don't have to kill them into mushy, unpalatable vegetables. You can cook them for a short amount of time in water or steam them just so the colors get really vibrant. You can puree them in a great blender and add some seasonings, and that's a great way to take them. You can also just eat them with your other food. So raw vegetables are much more difficult to digest, and just throwing a bunch of raw vegetables into a blender, I don't recommend that. Ayurveda doesn't recommend that. Much better if you can warm them up first, because it's not just getting the right things into your system, it's getting the right ingredients into your system in a way that you can digest and absorb that goodness. So usually heating things up is going to help with that. Freshness is going to help with that. So one thing we didn't talk about today are the how to eat principles. And in the long article that I read to you from the Cleveland Clinic, there was discussion about the nervous system and the enteric nervous system. And we know that digestion doesn't function well when we're stressed out. And most of us are stressed out. Most of us are living from a place of low level stress all the time. And some of us are living with a lot more stress than that. So there are a whole host of principles about how to eat. And those are really important to understand because it's not as simple as just tossing in supplements, tossing in the ingredients to make the healthy microbiome. We have to be able to digest them and absorb them. The most important way to understand what you can digest is through your own experience. So to know what those 10 whole foods are that you digest well no matter what, really good information to have. And then anytime you're under stress, anytime you're under the weather, those are your go-to foods, right? So you can get a little bit of nourishment in there. So I Ayurveda teaches us to do a digestive reset every spring and every fall. And there's so much wisdom in that because none of us are perfect in how, when, and what we're eating. And especially in modern times, there's just a lot going on. And there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of worry, there's a lot that we're having to process. And that interferes with our capacity to digest our food. So I recommend taking some time, and we're coming up on spring now, where you can reset your digestion. And it's really simple. It includes some of the exact things the Cleveland Clinic was recommending that Ayurveda also recommends. One is getting into rhythm with how you eat, getting the how to eat principles working for you. Another is to have a period of time on an elimination diet where you're just eating one kind of easy to digest food for a period of time, giving your system a break, starving some of the bad bugs. And the third recommendation is to do some kind of a simple purge where you're supporting elimination to function more at par, and maybe taking some herbs and spices to help you digest what you are taking in easier. And then you can return to a normal diet and start to work with these principles of feeding your microbiome a healthy, um, diverse set of plant foods. And you can have a fresh start. And this really brings a lot of information because once we go back to our normal diet, we can really start to see, this food I was eating so much, it really doesn't agree with me anymore. I'm going to have to make a change. Um, so I'm going to stop for now just because this has been really long. If you're interested in a reset, simply put reset in the comments and I will send you some information. I'm going to be opening up a program that's starting in April that will, at low cost, will take you through a reset to support your microbiota. And I'd love to see you there. All right. Thanks so much. Bye for now.